Hello, I'm Carrie. Today I will bring you the first episode of Black Mirror Season 2. Be right back. In the pouring rain, Martha bought coffee for her beloved husband Ash. While Ash was so absorbed in the internet that he didn't notice his wife's hard work. Although Martha was unhappy about this, it did not diminish her love for her husband in any way. When they got home, Martha was busy with dinner again. Ash was once again engrossed in his phone. Martha could only communicate with her husband by pretending to discuss pictures of him as a child. During the conversation, Ash talked about the heartbreaking events of his childhood. After his father died, all his father's photos were locked in the attic by his mother, which made him very helpless. Ash's words not only aroused Martha's sympathy but also ignited their fire. Martha even allowed Ash to leave his love inside her. The next day, due to a new job, Martha had to finish the work at home. So, poor Ash had to go alone to return the borrowed van. But until the evening, Ash did not come home. Because of worry, Martha made Ash a call. But there was no answer on Ash's phone. The rental company also informed her that the car had not been returned. Meanwhile, the lights of the police car were on outside the door. Seeing the policeman at the door, Martha suddenly understood everything. Her fears came true. Her lover was gone, as if a generation had passed. At the funeral, Martha's best friend Surash also came to attend. She was like Martha, who had also experienced the pain of losing a lover. But her feelings failed to resonate with Martha. Surash didn't seem to understand Martha's rejection. She even proposed that Martha should sign up for an app that simulates the voice of Ash. Because that's how she got out of sadness. But Martha, who was in a very bad mood, could no longer tolerate such an inappropriate suggestion. She directly and rudely refused Surash's suggestion. Subsequently, Martha returned home alone. Because she missed her husband so much, she climbed up to the attic and looked through Ash's photos. But, looking at these beautiful memories, Martha suddenly felt incredibly sad again. What she didn't expect was that Surash had signed her up for the app privately. After that, a stream of messages claiming to be Asher came one after another. The sadness of losing her lover and the anger at Surash's behavior completely angered Martha. She then denounced Surash's blasphemy against Ash on the phone. But Surash calmly told Martha, this intelligent app can read all of Ash's information on social networks and imitate his way of speaking. If we can give this app more access to Ash's private information, it will become more and more like Ash. But Martha still refused. Time passed and Martha slowly accepted Asher's death. One day, Martha felt a sudden wave of nausea at work. She took a pregnancy test kit and realized that she was pregnant. Confused, she rushed to her sister for help. But her sister, who was busy with household chores, failed to receive her call. So, the isolated Martha couldn't help but click on the link and reply to the message sent by the virtual Ash. Looking at the familiar chat in the app, Martha couldn't help but cry with joy. She told the news of her pregnancy to virtual Ash, who helped Martha calm her anxiety. This led Martha to refuse her sister's visit because all she wanted to do was talk to Ash. However, the text communication was quickly failing to satisfy Martha. She needed not only the reassurance of a voice but also sense of reality. So, prompted by the app, Martha uploaded all of Ash's video material. The app, through independent learning, surprisingly simulated Ash's voice and communication style, which surprised Martha. With Ash's voice at her side, Martha went through the anxious pregnancy. She shared the sights she saw and the joys of her life with this voice. The baby was growing and Martha shared her joy with virtual Ash when she heard the fetal heart. But the excitement made her accidentally break her phone, and the sudden disconnection irritated Martha's already fragile nerves. She immediately rushed home to replace her phone. And when the voice came back, it was like Martha had experienced another separation. Martha could no longer withstand such stimulation. To prevent another accident, virtual Ash made a suggestion that was expensive but made Martha's heart flutter. It turned out that the app has a more advanced service that allows virtual Ash to have a real body. A few days later, the goods were shipped back home. Martha opened the package, where curled up a human-shaped object, soft but odd. Prompted by the virtual Ash, Martha prepared the water and laboriously placed the synthetic muscle into it. After pouring electrolytes, the Ash in the phone began to transfer. Soon, a young body stood in front of Martha. He was almost identical to the real Ash, except that he looked younger and more perfect. Martha couldn't help but touch the robot, whose skin was both soft and smooth, exactly like Ash's. It was as if Martha had once again felt Ash. After drinking a large glass of wine, Martha took off her blouse. But when she was ready to do intimate things with Virtual Ash, she found that Virtual Ash did not even start the sex-related functions. Virtual Ash immediately activated the built-in program in order to satisfy Martha's needs. He found a large number of videos from the internet to learn. In this way, Virtual Ash let Martha experience a night of passion that she had never experienced before. The next day, Martha's sister suddenly came to visit her. Martha hid Virtual Ash from her sister, but her sister still saw the man's clothes in the bathroom. This made her mistakenly think that her sister had come out of the gloom and started a new relationship. But this sweet Virtual Ash, who never got angry and even slept with his eyes open, was becoming increasingly difficult for Martha to accept. Because he was just a robot that can imitate Ash, he didn't have the normal human emotions. Even as Martha felt anger and pain, the Virtual Ash was completely overwhelmed. This is not what Martha wanted. So, Martha directly kicked him downstairs, and Virtual Ash went into the darkness. But what Martha did not expect was that Virtual Ash actually stood downstairs all night. It turned out that his range of activity was limited to 25 meters from the launch site. Only in the company of the administrator, that is, Masha, he could travel far. Then, Masha, who was still angry, took Virtual Ash to the edge of the cliff and told him to jump. The foolish Virtual Ash obeyed the order and was ready to jump, which made Masha more disappointed. Because she knew that the real Ash would feel hesitant and scared. At this point, the Virtual Ash started to act like he was scared in order to satisfy Martha, which put Martha on the verge of breakdown. Because she had been trying to treat it as Ash and she gave it real affection. But all she got was an intelligent robot. That would only please her. Time passed quickly. Martha's children were grown up. And Virtual Ash, who won't be old and get angry and even don't have a sense of self, was also locked up in the attic by Martha. Only on special days did Martha visit him. The Virtual Ash, like those old photos that had been put away, was just an old thing. People will miss it when they don't see it. When they see it, they will feel sad again. That's all for the video. Thanks for your support. See you next time.